So, good afternoon and hello to those watching us through Facebook Live. We're glad that you can join us this afternoon. For the past 2 days, including today, NCDA, with the support of Australia Aid and Spring, led the first workshop for the development of the Philippine Disability Strategy and Action Plan. But before I proceed any further, and so that those who are not here with us today in person will be assured, this workshop is just the first of many consultations with the disability sector. And the Philippine Disability Strategy and Action Plan is still in the development process. Those who are not here will also have the chance to take part in this endeavor. To give our online participants a brief background of what has transpired, allow me to just give you a run-through of what this project is about. This document that we are working on will be an exhaustive guidebook of sorts so that duty bearers can refer to it for the next 10 years. As a strategy, we envision this to contain insightful solutions to ensure that the rights are made real for persons with disabilities, informed by the challenges encountered in the past that led to gaps in implementations. As an action plan, this is intended to provide specific indicators to track progress and keep government accountable. In line with this workshop that transpired yesterday and today involved a recap of existing international commitments of the Philippines, the Philippine Development Plan, the fourth Philippine Human Rights Plan, and the NCDA Strategic Plan, as well as brainstorming sessions participated in by 12 government agencies, namely DSWD, DOTR, DepEd, DPWH, DOLE, PIA, DOH, DICT, DILG, DOJ, TESDA, and DTI, as well as representatives from 9 organizations of persons with disabilities, namely ATRIV, ADHD Society of the Philippines, Autism Society of the Philippines, Filipino Autistic Self-Advocacy Team, Philippine Federation of the Deaf, WOW-LEAP, Psychosocial Disability Inclusive Philippines, and PhilSPADA. Like I said, this is an ongoing process, and we look forward to engaging with more members of the disability sector. And we commit to ensuring that voices from across different categories of disability are heard and are able to participate meaningfully. With that said, and to kick off the soft launch of the development of the Philippine Disability Strategy Action Plan and Action Plan, may we request our participants live here with us today who can stand up for the unveiling that will take place. Hi, everyone, can we stand up? So we will now be soft launching the development of the Philippine Disability Strategy and Action Plan. So with that, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng kasama namin ngayong araw in kicking off the development of this year.
on social protection and JETSI. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but I just want to reiterate that the JETSI element or inclusion for Spring is not a standalone objective. It's the thread that weaves through everything that Spring does. And therefore, this partnership with NCDA is our opportunity to actually contribute meaningfully into the work that NCDA is so ably leading on. For us, the partnership is a continuation for the Australian government to make sure that Philippines government priorities are supported and taken forward by Spring. And in this effort, we continue to approach it as a collaboration. We continue to approach it as a partnership, as a contribution which is built on evidence and which has to be context specific for the Philippines. So I know that you had a session in the morning, for instance, from on the Australian strategy on disability, but what out of that works for the Philippines? How would that work for the Philippines? I think that's where Spring wants to come in and bring that that support, so that it's not just the models from another country, but it's a model that works for the Philippines. And on that note, I think I need to acknowledge again the discussion that actually was quite compelling in the sense that it went way beyond identifying challenges. Everyone here contributing to actually going into the how, which is often the challenge, which is often the most important thing, because you have to have context-aware pathways so that the strategy, the ambitious strategy that is there, does not remain just aspirational. It becomes implementable. And I think for that, we really have to thank the group here, because the kind of grounded thinking that all of you brought is what is needed to make change happen. Just quickly on a few things that I take note of for the Spring team to ensure that we are taking that forward as we go into other consultations as well. Of course, the reiteration that inclusion must be right-based and life cycle oriented, but then to recognize that systems matter. Whether it's data, identification, registries, local service delivery, systems must be accessible. To the extent possible, they must be interoperable, and they must be responsive. And I think the recognition here was very clear that the responsibility for supporting people with disability rests at every level of government. So therefore, when I'll talk about the next steps, I'll talk about how we are going down that route as well. Another very important element that came up, kind of resonant of what the Australian strategy also has, is that intersectionality and diversity have to be recognized. Because we have to acknowledge that disability inclusion is inseparable from gender, age, geography, culture, and socioeconomic contexts. So those have to be, so that recognition, that acknowledgement that the group brought in, and of course, most importantly, OPTs and local actors must remain not just as consultancies, but consultees in this process, but at the heart of this process when the implementation starts, and monitoring the implementation as well, because like NCDA wants, the government has to be accountable to those that this strategy is for. And finally, I think all of this sort of culminated in this recognition that this is the start of a process where commitment of institutions, of budgets, of people, all will be consistently required. So thank you so much. You've given us a lot, and we're very lucky to be fortunate to have our consultant here with us, and you all know her, and I think you've given her a lot to take forward in the next few months. So as way forward, again, acknowledging that this is a beginning of a consultation process, but a beginning which is rich with so many ideas for us to take forward. And we will do that by continuing to work with, excuse me, by continuing to work closely with our partners, NCDA, DSWD, other partners, to get the input of this workshop and bringing it into the upcoming consultations with regional interlocutors, with OPDs, and with the sectoral and thematic partners. So these are some of the immediate steps. And what we want to do is that between November 2025 and April 2026, we want to expand and deepen this engagement, like I said, with our thematic partners, with our regional interlocutors, with more OPDs. But in tandem with that, we also want to explore implementation pathways. You've already sown the seed, but we want to explore those further, defining so that we are able to sort of start defining the institutional roles, the data gaps and needs, capacity building needs, coordination mechanisms, and everything that actually makes the strategy an implementable strategy. Finally, of course, the work that will happen through the discussion, through these, to actually developing the implementation mechanism for the strategy will go into something like this, which hopefully everyone will be holding very soon in their hands. And that draft strategy, I just want to say, we have put in place a peer review mechanism for the draft strategy as well, so that we have a quality assurance mechanism within the process where both national and international experts will be able to come in as peer reviewers. We will have a proper selection process criteria for those peer reviewers, and we will be taking this forward through that expert level consultation as well. And finally, but most importantly, throughout this process, one thing that we will ensure is meaningful participation of OPDs and people with disability, so that the strategy does not reflect just technical rigor, but also lived experience. Finally, I just want to close this by saying that, by reiterating and by re-emphasizing what we all know, which is that inclusion does not happen by design alone. It happens through deliberate action, it happens through consistent leadership, and most importantly, it happens through shared accountability. I think all of these elements are present, as this discussion showed, are present already with the group which is working on this strategy. And therefore, for me, what we're trying to build here is not just a strategy, it's a collective commitment to ensure people with disabilities are recognized as right holders and active agents, not just in social protection and development, but in all aspects of social and economic life. And with that, I thank you once again for your valuable contributions, your partnership, and your ongoing engagement. We look forward to continuing this journey with all of you as we move from consultation to co-creation and eventually from strategy to action. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shireen Gould. Let's give a round of applause to Ms. Shireen. And also to give us some closing remarks for today's activity, may we call the Regional Programs Coordinator, Mr. Randy Calcenia.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jonah. NCT would like to thank, of course, the Australian government through the DFAD and the SPRING program for supporting this initiative to develop a Philippine strategy and action plan on disability. We are so thankful and grateful for your support and technical assistance on this. And of course, we'd like to thank our partners in development, of course, the Organization of Persons with Disabilities who are here with us to share the insights and provide inputs that will be beneficial to the development of this strategy and plan. And of course, to the members of the governing board of the National Council on Disability Affairs, to their representatives, thank you very much for being here and expressing your support to this initiative. And of course, to all our partners in the government, thank you very much for being here. As mentioned a while ago, this consultation is just one of the many consultation that will happen in the next months. So there are so many ways of participating in the development of this strategy or plan. We encourage all the organizational personalities to send their position papers to NCDA so we can document your aspiration and your vision of this plan, and how do you envision the Philippines by at the end of this decade plan. So we are very interested to hear and to know what your aspirations are. And this plan is not only a government plan, it's all our plan. That's why in this plan, we encourage participation of organizational personalities, the non-government organization, the private sectors to include. No, this is not only about the government doing it for you, but the OPDs contributing their activities project to realize our common vision for persons with disabilities, and also the private sector. So there are a lot of things to do, but we are so excited for this Philippine strategy and action plan, and we know that we are not alone in this initiative. We have the sector, and for those who are not able to join us for this consultation activity, we will be visiting the Visayas and the Mindanao region for the consultative services. So meaning we can still meet you there, we will hear you, so that we can better draft a plan that responsive to the needs of persons with disabilities, being our partners in the development, who are empowered, who are living in an inclusive society, just like anybody else. So we thank you on behalf of our Executive Director, E.D. Glenda Relova. We thank you so much for your participation to this two-day development of the Philippine strategy and action plan on disability. So see you again, and we hope that we continue to work together towards an inclusive society for all and empowered persons with disabilities contributing to our economy. So thank you very much, everyone, and God bless.